Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, where it's a new year, but I'll probably still have to deal with the same dumb stuff that I had to deal with last year. So, anyways, hey, what's up? You want to hear a story? I bet you do. So we're gonna do this now. So today's thing, if you will, it's a little classic story that the history books would never forget about if it were written down in those history books. It's not though. Today's story is the frightful tale of Sonic Adventure. Metal lives forever. Look at how close to the mic I can get. Now, before the proper story, we have a pre-mini story, as all good stories do have. First it says, this story is about a girl whose father makes a Sonic Adventure from a Zelda game N64 cartridge. Now, let's ignore the fact that makes a Sonic Adventure from a Zelda game N64 cartridge doesn't make any sense at all within the English language. We're gonna ignore that for the time being. And the girl gives it to one of her friends. After he plays it, the boy's life is forever changed, and there's no period here. So, let this be indicative of what we're getting into. The story. Oh, thank God that was there. I would have been confused. To start, I do not know much about video games. So pack it up. This creepypasta's over. I didn't know as much as I do now at the time of all of this. It was the year 2000. What month was it? Irrelevant. Why the fuck did you bring it up? What time was it? What did I eat for breakfast that day? What did I eat for supper? I'm not gonna tell you, because it doesn't matter. I had many friends. Oh, this story is very unrealistic. I don't believe you have friends for a goddamn second. Who were gamers, and knew much more of hacking and glitching than I ever did. I am a quote-unquote gamer and still don't know much about hacking and glitching than I ever did. But they also were Sega junkies. Well, they have a problem and they need to go to the hospital immediately. Sega junk. Is that what's going around Author's Town? Sega junkies is hitting up behind a game crazy. There's some obscure old place that sells video games. Anyways, those Sega junkies, whatever. Well, I was more of Nintendo. Oh, wait, I was more into Nintendo. So, meth. Got it. Well, of course, one day, one of my friends named Tiffany, a cheerleader at the school I go to and a Sonic fan. None of this sentence sounds real. It sounds fat. It does that. It makes no sense. you're okay. You have a female friend. All right. She's a cheerleader. Okay. She loves Sonic. Okay. Things are getting a little unrealistic here in this little creepypasta area. Anyways, she decided to knock on my door. Wait. Dear Penthouse, she decided to knock on my door, though. I answered it, and we talked. She was quite happy and peaceful. Like most cheerleaders, I know. She was quite happy and peaceful. Also not a bitch at all. And said how her father managed to place Sonic Adventure, and in parentheses, released 1 or 2 years ago, onto a Nintendo 64 cartridge, which is impossible. I don't believe you for a second. She simplified that he and a few friends, okay, we're going to get a nice, lengthy explanation. So he and a few friends of his deleted The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time game from the cartridge in a highly complicated process. And basically created a less graphically enhanced Sonic Adventure instead. Now, not knowing much of video games at all, I thought they were full of shit. Not that you can't explain your complicated process. We used magic to put Sonic Adventure into this cartridge. Don't ask us questions. But okay, but not. Now not. There we go. Knowing much of video games at all, you poser. And much less of Sega and Nintendo themselves. You said earlier in the story you were into Nintendo. Don't lie to me, author. Don't lie to me, and don't lie to this audience. How dare you? Where do you get off? I decided to ask for the game. You would, wouldn't you? She smiled. Oh. Fiction. And had it in her pocket. Like, what was in her pocket? No, but like what are the odds that, okay, you're a cheerleader, you like Sonic, you're gonna come to my house, you're gonna give me the game, you're gonna have the game on you. Like, it's you can't. I'm sorry. This is the fan fiction of creepypastas. It doesn't add up. But yeah, she smiled and had it in her pocket, because that makes sense. I don't even know if cheerleader uniforms have pockets, as a side note, but I was amazed at the plot convenience. But again, I knew little of video games and of her family. And if I don't know about her family, how am I expected to enjoy a video game? So I just took it without question. I hadn't yet played the games. Okay, so it's continuing on, so I'm assuming the author just slammed the door in this lady's face. Thank you for the game. Bye-bye. I gotta go do creepypasta now. It's very important. But I haven't yet played the game's official version at that time. But I will say that after a lot of hesitation, I have since played it. Oh God, working up the nerve to play Ocarina of Time. You brave soul. Now, due to school work, it took me a few 3 days. Why did you bring up playing Ocarina of Time if it doesn't have any impact on this story? Just like, I didn't play Ocarina of Time, but then later on I did play it. Anyways, let's continue with the story. So, now due to school work, it took me a good 3 days until it was Saturday, and then I add that by 2, which is Sunday, but that's not Saturday. During that time, the game just gathered dust on the shelf. That doesn't sound like enough time to gather dust, unless each day you're sprinkling dust on it. Though I did keep it in a position where the dust wouldn't enter it. Was that position a plastic baggie? Well, I think that's how it worked anyway. It's a great start. In English class, they teach you that when you end a paragraph with a word, you're supposed to immediately start the next paragraph with the same word. But anyway, the game itself was average. I'm going to do a review on it. And it was the golden Ocarina of Time cartridge, but with the original title replaced with Sonic Adventure written on a sticker and a marker. A sticker on a marker. Everyone get out your bingo cards. Now, normally this is cliche and creepy. Normally. But it wasn't from a flea market. It was from a friend whom I trusted. As such, it wasn't creepy at the time, of course. In fact, I have reason to believe it'll never be creepy ever in the history. Never. Not once during this story is it going to be. No. Well, on to playing the game. It seemed pretty normal upon putting it into my Nintendo 64. Yes, pretty normal indeed. Almost too normal. But that would be silly. We'll come back to that later. I did know that Tiffany's father worked at a video game developing company, so it wasn't abnormal that he created this at all. Actually, yeah, it is. It's, at the very least, it's like copyright infringement, right? But in fact, he did it before with the cartridge for Super Mario 64 and Sonic R for the Sega Saturn. I don't know at all how her father created this. I'm sorry, what did they do with that other thing? Did they turn Super Mario 64 into Sonic R? What the fuck's going on over there? Anyways, I don't know at all how her father created this or what steps it takes to do so, but I can imagine it is very complicated. It's so complicated, I have no explanation for you at all, and I didn't think of one, I didn't write one down, and you're not getting shit. The intro was skipped after the Sega and Sonic Team logos, and then the stage screen showed up. I pressed the start button, and I was treated to the game data select menu. I saw one file with nothing on it at all. It was completely new. I selected it, and the game began. The first thing I saw was a simple text on the screen that read, "Metal lives forever." I was somewhat scared. I had been told that metal had died in the late 80s when Nirvana came about. I'm sorry. That's part of my fan fiction. Shut up. Anyways, but I just thought it was Tiffany's father playing a joke. Not a funny joke, mind you. Just, regular old joke. Since he did make this thing after all, that jokester, haha. And it did go to the mode select screen afterwards, like most jokes do. Am I right? Someone fist bump me or kill me. Once I selected adventure mode, I finally looked at the character models. The screen itself resembled the original, though the character selections working more like Smash Bros. Basically, they appeared on boxes and their models were displayed below. The models themselves resembled what the Sega Saturn Sonic R created, though a bit less blocky and with more texture to them. All of them even had their classic looks to them, and I will add in that the music was a bit distorted, though only slightly. Oh, thank God. I only want to hear a slightly distorted version of Field of Sunshine. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a different game. This story is great. But yeah, that slightly distorted music, oh, I hate it. I looked through all of them. In total, there were 6 characters to select, with one box having an X over it. I assumed that was the unlockable one, and I, like anyone else, chose Sonic first. You would, wouldn't you? Because you're a poser. You're not even a Sega fan, for God's sakes, but I love Sonic. I don't know. The gameplay went straight to the Chaos boss fight, and the rest was similar to this. Okay, so how did that fight work if Link can't jump and you smush this into The Legend of Zelda, but the gameplay mechanics are completely different, so how does any of this work? You're not gonna explain it, are you? No. It just... I feel dumb for even asking. We'll just get back to the story. So what was going on? There were no cutscenes except for certain parts. Oh, so there were cutscenes. Don't lie to me, God. And even then, they had no audio except for music. So they had Go to hell. Look, there were no cutscenes in this game except for those cutscenes, and there was no audio except for that audio. The stages were basically the same as they were on the Dreamcast. Doubt it! And as were the bosses and storylines. And this went on for each character. Magical. It was normal. No creepiness, but I won't lie that the text did haunt me. This game wasn't really scary at all, but I saw the text and I got all freaked out and I questioned my life choices and stuff. But it had this imposing feeling. I find text very imposing, and I would appreciate it if no one made fun of me for it. Thank you very much. And there were points in the game that made me feel uneasy at the least. Wait. Uneasy at the least. I don't think that's a saying. Like, uneasy at most. God. Stop. You stop it. You stop it right now. First was when Sonic was about to go to Final Egg. Metal Sonic's head turned in the tube. Watching Sonic, he didn't do anything else. He just followed Sonic. Nothing else happened. Much like the story. Though he wasn't even the final boss. That wasn't even his final form. Instead, it was the final Viper Machine. Oh no! Scroll down a little bit. Second was when I played Gamma Story, which I played second out of curiosity, and it seemed to take place before any of the other stories. Fun fact, everyone. During the opening, all Metal did was follow Robotnik, and then Gamma turned to him. He looked right back. The other robot didn't do this, and the rest of the story went on without any Metal Sonic in the story. That's riveting, he said sarcastically. Again, not even the final boss, as instead it was E101 MK11. You know, interestingly, the ending was different, except that's not interesting at all. Instead of Beta exploding, he simply remained collapsed on the ground with visible damage to his body, such as holes exposing graphics of wires and circuitry. Gamma merely aimed his gun at Beta before having a hole blown straight through him by an unseen laser. For some reason, pink leathers? Pink feathers, sorry about that, were shown falling to the ground at this moment before a mostly unseen face actually ripped Gamma's gun arm off and shot his head off with it. Mr. Edgelord, who wrote this fucking story, God, I say mostly unseen force because that figure was moving so fast. If this ends up being your like original OC Hedgehog, I don't do it. And then it seemed to just fly off. And it's the best it's the best hedgehog in the entire series, and it can fly, and it's faster than Sonic, and it's cooler than Sonic and Rouge combined. It's like both of them together. But it vaguely looked like Metal Sonic now that I remember it. I don't know. Third was Amy's story. God, we're not done yet. The semi-final story. Oh my God. Thank you. I hope you're not lying. I played, and I think it happened last based on events when I entered the final egg base here. The story is very repetitive, and I hate it. Metal Sonic's tube had a massive broken hole through it, and as I looked at it, I was a little surprised. I was shocked. And was also a bit hesitant to go to the final egg as I still remembered those text words. And as we all know, I find text to be the most terrifying thing ever, which is why I wrote a story consisting solely of text. Regardless, I played the stage, and as I did, noticed strange things. Lasers destroyed the cranes on the stage, and it wasn't the Zero robot. I made Amy run and run. Wow, what a strategician. And eventually got her to the first spider elevator. I managed to get Zero knocked down to the bottomless pit down the elevator before activating it once I, and in parentheses, Amy, just in case you forgot, stupid, but entered the elevator. There was a rumble in the controller, and on the screen as Amy went up, the stage went on without anything weird, except for the fact that Zero never appeared in it after. Well, that would qualify as weird, wouldn't it? So then something weird, you're lying through your teeth, like that song from Head Automatica, which is very catchy. He didn't even show up at the end, like on the Dreamcast version, which is I'm expecting too much out of a Nintendo 64 game. Allegedly exists. That allegedly look. Anyways, it was as if he was destroyed at the level, in the level itself. Instead, the final boss was E101 MK11 in a more damaged state, with Gamma's destroyed body in the scene. I was highly confused by this scene. You were highly confused by this scene. I don't know what's going on! But after a very difficult fight, I defeated Beta and the story ended like it does on the Dreamcast. At the time, I thought nothing of it. Sometimes I didn't think at all, actually. Now, I actually thought, you said you thought nothing of it. Pick a lane. But I actually thought that was how the story must have gone. After that, I managed to finally sit through Big Story. That big bastard. Tails, Knuckles, and Big had no Metal Sonic strangeness, and I was finally ready to see what the X was for. Ooh, especially the activity with the text. The 3 strange activity incidents of Metal Sonic. The X was now gone and replaced with a box showing the red crescent eye of Metal Sonic. When I went over to it, this model appeared. It was like the others, a slightly more advanced version of his one from Sonic R, except he looked right at the screen. Oh my god, the developers had the ability to rotate character models. That's too much power! It was as if he was looking right at me. Oh, author is vain. And his eyes, as always, gave off an angry look to him. An evil look, which is weird for the character who's a good guy and is not at all evil. Just saying. Though that was just Metal Sonic. Whatever. I was a little hesitant once more, but selected him instead. Once more it opened with a cutscene. Though this time with Amy just leaving the tunnel at night. She didn't have the bird with her and was walking through the jungle, looking around frantically. I soon saw Metal Sonic, his eyes glowing behind her. The lack of right made him look completely black. Okay. It's the letter L. It spells the word light. Fun facts with Theory of Wind. So let's do this correctly. The lack of light made him look completely black. I tried to skip as he slowly came up to her, but that's when I learned the game had no way to skip cutscenes. As Metal Sonic then reached Amy, she turned around. Once the screen cut to black, there was a horror movie like Scream, probably that generic one that I hate. I just sat in front of the screen, looking on in surprise. Did Metal Sonic just kill Amy? I hope so. God. I mean, I didn't get to find out at the time because soon enough it went straight to show Sonic. Sonic, check it out. Look what I did. That's when gameplay started, and it was at sunrise or daytime right then. And the location was the Mystic Ruins. Tails was present, and he was the worst present you could ever receive. And I talked to him. The text, sorry about that, very unprofessional. The text went as following, as text in the cutscene worked just like the original Zelda game that this was made from. But at the time, wait, you didn't know that at the time because you didn't play it, so how would you know? Anyway, Tails, Sonic, there is something going on at Angel Island. Sonic, what's up, Tails? Tails, I don't know, but I know it's normal. Wait. Sonic, there is something going on at Angel Island. What's up, Tails? I don't know, but I think it's normal. So there's nothing wrong. But look, I don't know, but I think it's normal. It's at Angel Island, right? Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. Nothing, apparently. But you might want to check it out. There's nothing going on. It's normal, but maybe you want to go check it out or something like that. And then Sonic is all like, because he's stupid and can't fucking hear, I guess. Fine, let's go see what Knucklehead's up to. He's not up to anything, because things are normal. After that, I, of course, made Sonic go to Angel Island. You're a follower, okay? And this is why I hate you. With the fear of what happened to Amy haunting me the entire time. When I got to Angel Island, the game went into another cutscene. Got another one. What's the budget on this game? And showed the flying island after the bridge was completely gone. That is, the landmass with the shrine of the Master Emerald. It was gone. I don't know what did this, but I knew it was either Metal Sonic or Eggman. The text between Sonic and Tails continued. Oh boy. Sonic, did Chaos do this? Tails, I don't know, but look, Sonic. Great commentary by Tails. The screen then showed blood. Thank you. So yeah, the screen then showed blood. Go figure. Leading to one of Knuckles' gloves. Oh no, not Knuckles! Right at the edge of the bridge. Right at the edge of the bridge started at. I covered my mouth in surprise. Fictional character, no! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. What was doing this fictional thing? Either way, the text continued. Oh no, not the scary text. And Sonic picked up the glove. What made it worse? A hand came out that was red. That arguably makes it better. I'm sorry. Okay, but seriously though, seriously, everyone. What made it worse was a hand came out that was red and had normal fingers and two spiked knuckles. I wonder whose hand it was. I couldn't believe it, said the author. Sonic, what the? Sonic dropped the glove and was visibly shocked, like I was while watching this. How could the N64 render any of this? But it's Knuckles' hand, said Tails. And glove. They came as a pair. That's a good deal. What were we talking about again? Sonic, that's it! That puddle of water isn't getting away with this! You just killed one of your friends, and the best you can come up with, your best line, Mr. Chili Dog, is that puddle of water. Huh. He can go to hell. And then Tails said, Sonic, you sure Chaos did this? I could have done it. Spoil, maybe, I don't know. That's my guess, actually. Sonic, I got no other options. Come on, let's go to the egg carrier. The cutscene ended and then went on to make Sonic go to the egg carrier through the Mystic Ruins raft. I was scared, my heart pumping, and in truth, I was getting more and more anxious. Once I was in the egg carrier, I saw that towers of smoke were coming from it, and the pool room was gone, and the rotating tower fell over, causing damage to that control room building. Also, the bridges were also destroyed as well. I was amazed at this. Look at all this destruction, it's great! And as I saw fire coming from all the damaged parts, I was even more anxious. Once I got to the main engine structure, I saw that some models were on it. These models were of Gamma and Beta, heavily destroyed and on fire. This didn't add to my anxiety at the time, because I knew what caused their deaths. Each other. Bum dum dum! However, I saw other models. Just say character models, okay? They're not actual models strutting down, showing their stuff. You just don't, whatever. One was a brain in the center of the engine, and the other was what looked like a corpse. It's very descriptive. I made Sonic walk over to it. You're a sicko. And a cutscene played, revealing the person that it was. It was Amy. Oh no. It's a shame. She had blood all over her, and her heart was right beside her. You know that Amy always wore her heart on her sleeve, if I do say so myself. But since she was in her classic look, the blood showed all over her, and her left leg was gone. Just so yeah, they took that. I don't know. But she had claw marks all over her spines. I'm sorry, she had more than one? She had claw marks all over her spines. Oh wait, you mean like her spines, as in the hedgehog, or her spinal cord? You gotta be specific when you say this stuff. And since she was on her side, I saw that the 5 big ones were on her back going down. I almost vomited upon seeing this. Sonic himself backed away, but there was no text this time, and then he tripped over the brain. Since Amy had no gaping hole in her head, I assumed this was Chaos's brain, since his brain has always been visible in the model, and it had minor puddles of water around it, though it was bleeding from a massive claw mark right in the center. Finally, text came, and it appeared again. Sonic, what in the world, Tails? Let's get out of here. There was no answer from Tails. I swear to God, if Tails ends up being the villain, because I was joking. And then Sonic turned. It was revealed that he was not there. This made my heart pump faster. Tails? Tails? Suddenly, there was text. The character was off screen, but it read, I am perfection. Sonic said, huh? I am the end of evolution. Sonic said, who is this? Come out and show yourself, you coward. Chili dog. That's no good. You will see when you come. Sonic said, come? Come where? When I arrive to you. Suddenly, I lost control of Sonic. The cutscene ended, but not really. Stop lying to me. How many times has this happened in the story where you say something and then like a second later you're like, no, but that didn't actually happen. This is what happened instead. I'm retconning everything as I write it. But Sonic was moving on his own, off of the egg carrier and onto the boat that led to the station square. When we revealed the city, every building in view was on fire, and the people were lying on the ground with similar wounds to Amy and the Brain. The Brain is now its own character. Even the little girl and her father at the train station suffered the same fate. Oh no. Not only that, but no music played for this at all. It probably would have been inappropriate, honestly. Only the sound of the burning fires, the ever-growing cutscene was shown. The cutscene was... Oh, I'm sorry, the ever-going cutscene. That would have been scary, huh? That would have been the first scary thing to happen. Growing cutscene. Was showing Sonic checking all the bodies and then looking at the tunnels to Twinkle Park. They were destroyed and laid in the sewage waters behind the entrance. The entire building of Twinkle Park was on fire itself, and no cars were moving either. Sweating from being so nervous, I watched as Sonic then left to the Mystic Ruins through the train. The station itself had no damage, but the sky from it and the lightning inside showed that the fires were going on outside. I watched as Sonic got off. Ew. Oh. And just as he jumped on the wooden entrance and ran to the wagon, there was a purple and bloody blob in, I hope this is who I think it is, in the wagon. It was big. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Throw him out. But hey, he had massive claw marks on his stomach. No one cares. And he had his head on the ground behind the wagon. No one cares. There were blood marks heading into the tunnel. Don't care. Showing he was dragged all the way to the wagon. Do not care. It was finally then that I gained control of Sonic. I'm glad we can forget about Big and never bring him up ever again in this story. Thank God. But I assumed that this was going to give me a choice of what to do, because Sonic Adventure is known for its non-linear style of gameplay, he said sarcastically. Whether I should go after the blood trails or if I would run away, believing the being doing this was going to be at the city, I decided to go into the tunnel. I also thought of the third option, turning off the game. Always the same option. We always come across this option in these dumb stories. Though, comma, I was still curious. If you can believe it. If you can believe the author was still curious somehow, though. I was still curious enough to see what would happen next. Like, what if I kept playing the game? I wondered to myself, and so I did. The cutscene continued. Once the jungle was loaded, Sonic was running through the woods, following a long trail of blood. He even passed through a massive pile of blood, likely where Amy was attacked, though that was just my assumption. As he ran, more blood came. This is not a good story. Just pointing that out. It's using blood as a crutch now, literally. But blood came to his feet, and his feet even became more red, as if the blood he was running through was new and still wet. Okay. That scared me even more. I don't like wet things. Soon he reached the final egg base. It was burning. Similar to the station's square, but the tunnel was still there. Since only one part of it was burning, I assumed that was part that Sonic fought the Egg Viper in. Sonic entered the building, and I gained control of him. I saw that the main room was also on fire, and the other robot was still in the tube. I made Sonic drop to the center, where the entire bordering walls were on fire. I was scared, and I noticed that the door Amy exited from was not even there. Opened up despite not being near it. Magic! The cutscene started again, and Sonic looked around. The room was just on fire. I get it, there's fire. Move on with your life. And no music except the sounds of the burning. I know what fire is! I once more assumed and hoped that this was just from the fight from the Egg Viper, and that the fires from the explosion were now... I get it, fire, blah! Are you into pyrotechnics? Be honest with me, author. Be honest with all of us. We're not gonna judge you. Except for me. But, yeah, there were, explosion now spreading throughout the base. After all, Amy's story, which seemed to be after Sonic's didn't have fire in the main room, well, it was not going to be proven right or wrong. But I don't know what you're referring to. But Eggman was thrown straight at Sonic. That had to have hurt. Fuck. And he was black and burned. He was cooked. Completely burned. Not rare. Well done. I was shocked. Oh, God. Not able to believe at all this was happening. I still don't believe the N64 is capable of producing any of this. But Sonic himself looked at the body with shock. He couldn't believe it either, though it was the only one yet that didn't have claw marks. It was only severely burned. I assumed that his death was from Sonic when the Egg Viper exploded. Then Sonic looked up, and the darkness beyond the open door was shown. In the center were the glowing red crescent eyes. Choosing to follow the blood was a mistake. Text continued. You killed father. Sonic said, what? But I won't die to you. What? Sonic said, what are you? Sorry, I misquoted. And then they said, you're death. This writing sucks. Suddenly, Sonic backed up and tripped on something once more. Did he trip on something before? Is it gonna be Amy's leg? If it's Amy's leg, I get 1,000,000 points. It was not Eggman's burned corpse, but a mangled one. Oh, damn. Well, no points for me. I almost vomited once more. Oh, suck it up! It's the N64. It's not capable of graphical. I hate you. As it was the furless corpse of Tails. Oh, boo-hoo. His two tails looking like bones. I mean, that's what's under a tail. What do you want? And it looked as though he had been completely skinned. Oh, that's a shame. He had no eyes, only black and bleeding holes. His bangs were gone. Not his bangs! Like everything, oh no, his eyes. Oh no, his fur. His bangs. Oh my god. Oh, his face is gonna look weird now. Also, his ears were bleeding. God, you know. I get like that too when it gets too cold sometimes. But the fire in the room, more fire, made this even scarier because fire is super duper scary, you guys. And just then, the cutscene showed a massive laser firing right at Sonic, but Sonic dodged it, and it set Tails' corpse on fire too. Good. Rather than fight the being, Sonic ran up the stairs and back out of the base. Oh yeah, the best plan of attack, run away. But only it loaded, it was only revealed that half of the tunnel was destroyed. The end left was the half Sonic was in. I can't be expected to remember the layout of a base that you thought of poorly in your dumb little story. But Sonic stopped himself before he fell. Fell where? I don't know. I can't imagine this place as a location in my head. Learn to write. But then he turned around. The fire had extended. Oh no, not more fire. Sorry. It's just the fire's everywhere, oh god. Shone right at the door. No, not the fire at the door he came from, stopping him from going back in. Not only that, but the eyes and body of whatever killed all these characters showed up. I knew now, it was Metal Sonic. Oh wow, shocker. It was Metal Sonic in the story with Metal Lives in the title? You mean Metal Sonic is somehow related to this whole mystery of the characters that got killed? Oh my, that's so unexpected, not to mention original. You're a good writer. I'm not being sarcastic at all. Where was I? So yeah, it was Metal Sonic. I could tell it was him. And Sonic knew too. Even Sonic knew that this was played out and dumb. Sonic said, "Metal?" Question mark. That is technically correct. He was mostly in the fire. Stop talking about the fire! His eyes glowing, but he was no longer hidden from view. Sonic says. That was no good. Did you kill all these people? And my friends? I don't care about the people. My friends, though. Metal Sonic, survival of the fittest. I'm a robot. Sonic said, what? No, he said survival of the fittest, Sonic. But, Metal Sonic, they were a disgrace to evolution. Now, it is your turn, Sonic. Sonic then panicked. You're a great main character, Sonic. I just want to throw that out there. I was heavily in suspense now, and easily upset, I guess, and watched in horror as Metal Sonic dashed at him. In his fear, Sonic actually jumped off the ledge and fell down into the jungle below. He was shown falling right towards a graphic of a river. In the graphics of the far below jungle, Sonic couldn't swim. Don't I know it? The screen dies instantly. The screen then cut to black and red text, then red. While all others die. Aw. That's a nice gesture. Just then, the two crescent eyes of Metal Sonic appeared. As text faded away, I backed up, fearing he would actually come out of the television to kill me, even though that's not realistic at all and probably won't happen. But he didn't. See? Nope. Oh, I can't get through TV screens. Go figure. But, yeah, he didn't. He wouldn't. Such a thing would never happen. Duh. All the eyes did was glow. Oh, no, not glow. I turned off the game You could have turned off the TV also. Right then, and even then, I was still looking at the television in shock. Look out your window or your wall or something. I'm so fixated on this 4x3 television. I just can't stand it. But I turned off the game right then, and even then, blah, blah, blah. I slept in that position that night, sitting there in that chair, with Metal Sonic dashing right at me, completely encased, with fire around him. More of this fire bullshit. As he did so, I looked down below, the jungle and the river below me, miles. I faced the same choice Sonic felt, the same peril he was in. Either way, I would die. I had to choose the peaceful and symbolic death or the violent and murderous death. Both sound so appealing. I made the choice Sonic did. Why are we talking about how you're going to off yourself? That's something I do when I'm having trouble sleeping at night. I fell to my death just as he did, and in the nightmare, I got to see the tower crumbling as it exploded. 1/3 of it cracked in half with an explosion as the rest crumbled in a fiery explosion. It was on fire. I get it! Oh my god. Stop. How many times has fire been mentioned in the past, 3 paragraphs alone? Goddamn. Someone has a fetish. My chair squeaked. Let's see. Where was the last time you said fire? I got lost. Found it. It was on fire by many stories, and soon it came out of my view as the trees of the jungle came in. Then the splash of water. I saw the water splash up onto me, and soon I was encased in it completely. Metal was not anywhere, and my dream faded to black then. Why? Because both of the red texts lines showed in my nightmare, and I woke up with a slight gasp. It was midnight then, and I hurriedly rushed out of my house, still in my pajamas. Why? This is important. Everyone quiet. I went over to Tiffany's house. Okay, look. There's some fatal flaws in this plan. You can't go to a girl's house in your pajamas in the middle of the night, Arthur Kuhn. I'm sorry. Don't do that. But I went over to Tiffany's house in a hurry. She just lived down the street by a few blocks. I left the cartridge at home, and I banged on the door. I'm sure her father will be very happy to see you. Sure enough, nobody answered. It was then I looked around and saw a sign on the front lawn. I went over and it said, for sale by owner. Oh, they gave me a game and then moved away. This always happens. But in surprise, I sighed and looked up. It was then in the window of the attic that I saw 2 crescent-like eyes that glowed red, looking right at me. They were just like Metal Sonic's eyes. I quickly ran away then in fear after what I played. Aftermath. No, the story's not over yet, unfortunately. For 2 weeks after that, I faced the memory of the game and the terror of having it in my room. Throw it away, you idiot. For all those days, every dream I had during those 7 weeks involved those red eyes. Fire. I love fire. And a variation of events in the final story of the game with me instead of the certain characters. I even got to face the mutilation that Amy faced, and even saw the burning that Eggman faced, and Metal Sonic carrying his body to the main room, and a feeling of anger and the vision, even though he could show no real emotion. This caused many problems in my real life, as due to those nightmares and the daydreams that followed, I began to neglect my schoolwork. I wrote Sonic on every page. I started failing classes. They wouldn't give me coins. Rings, whatever. And my grades, they went down. That's the opposite of up. Soon, I was forced out of many activities like the Creepypasta Club and lost the school elections. Let's not vote for this weirdo. Hangs out with cheerleaders like Sonic, Sega Junkie, whatever. I like the TurboGrafx 16 personally, even though it's a little out of date by this point. But this mental state I fell into was furtherly. That doesn't sound right. I'm just going to assume it's not, because it doesn't sound right. Maybe it is right. I don't care. Furtherly. Like, you can't think of a better word than furtherly? Jesus. Furtherly hurt when my parents divorced. My parents divorced because I wrote a creepypasta and put it on the internet. Oh, God. My parents divorced, and I was put into my mother's custody once father turned alcoholic and abusive before dying of alcohol poisoning. I'm glad this story is going to have a happy ending. I eventually decided to rid myself of this game once and for... It took you this long? Dad's dead, but I'm going to throw away this game. I borrowed Mother's car and drove straight to the local flea market scene. Wait, so your solution to this is to give it to someone else? I love this solution. Flea market, since all the main game stores like GameStop nearby refused to sell it since they knew it wasn't official and it was full of ghosts. The flea market accepted it, you suckers, and I drove away from it happier. Or at least for those moments. Once I passed by Tiffany's now sold house, I parked the car and looked at it. That's not a stalkerish thing to do at all. The eyes weren't there in the window or the other windows I saw from the attic. And then I looked down to the first floor window. That was where the kitchen was. And I saw them. They glowed even brighter, as if they were angered at me or judging me. Like, how dare you! I know what you did. I saw. I was paying attention. I saw you puss out. You suck! But I hit the gas and dashed away from the window at top speed. Luckily, I didn't get into a car accident. Remember, kids, wear your seatbelts. My life, since giving away the game, has been decent at best. I ended up flunking high school. Life turned out pretty good. Oh, I flunked high school, though. My nightmare is continuing. I now am stuck with a very poor job, and my mother has kicked me out of the house and thus forced me to live on my own. I managed to eventually end up convincing my best friend to let me stay in his apartment. However, and when I asked him of Tiffany, he said he hasn't spoken to her or seen her since she moved away. I was a bit scared of girls. Who isn't? But I decided to ignore it. Now, I write this. I hope you have a good reason. The reason I am reporting this is because I am now haunted in my mind by the fact that this game is still out there. Oh, noes. I still have nightmares about the eyes. Sounds like a personal problem. And sometimes I see real people in them. Imagine all the people. You know, like that song? Just real people, not murdered, just normal people. Just basically them. I can only assume these people bought the game from the flea market, though again, I can only assume, you're writing this story, so you can make up literally any plot point you want, but you won't because you're a coward. I have no idea what any of this means. That fucking makes two of us! Or if I was going delusional. Though, I know none of this is normal. I should have destroyed the game when I had the chance. Yeah, you should have. If I get the chance again, I won't make that mistake. That's the end of the story. Here are some tags. Bad fan fiction. And that's the only one of the tags that I feel is really important to this story. So, I think we all learned something today, really. And it's that I make poor life decisions. And you listen to them. And we're in love. This has been Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime. I hope you enjoyed Sonic Adventure Metal Lives Forever. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, subscribing, or doing that stuff. Hate that I have to say it, blah, blah, blah. See you next time on this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Slate Live. It's live because I'm streaming right now while I'm recording this. I hope you all enjoyed the new video, which was a bullshit creepypasta story time on Sonic Adventure Metal Lives. A video that more likely than not did not get monetized because YouTube has been hitting all of my videos with that, including the gaming mysteries and the obscure gamings. So that's nice. I hate to shill, but if you did like the video, feel free to like it, or if you can, support me on Patreon. Hate to say it, but yeah, it's a situation. But I hope you're doing good, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I love you. And you're probably not expecting to see a video from me so soon, which is going to surprise you when you see the next video from me so soon. Just wait. But you know what? We're not here to do that. Not right now. Shh. We've been here for too long already. We're here to thank some very special individuals. My shout outs, if you will, to all of my homies, and my Patreon supporters. So with that in mind, I want to thank you, Phantom Gannon and Michaela Whitman, Gerardo. It cut off part of your name. It did this last time, I think. Gerardo Echeverria. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lucas and Deshaun Lewis, the GOAT Shadow. Skinny720, thank you very much. Thank you, Anal Bag. That's a name. Queen Sapphire, Snooper, Matthew Newitt, Ragnar the Green, also mods the Discord. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Thousand Freckles. I got that right. I was cut off too. Thank you, Sad Goku. Aw. Thank you, Daniel Palacio. I was going to say it right, then I was going to say it wrong, then I was going to say it right. Thank you, James Gray, as well as Matt Sinclair, Gothic Violin. Oh, aren't they all? I love them. Thank you, The Pie Man. Oh, who among us isn't a pie man, am I right? Thank you, Hey, it's Brad. Thank you, Yuri's Fat D. You know, speaking of... it's coming off of the pie thing, maybe a bad timing. Thank you, Bradley Harder, as well as Antonio and Guano. Thank you, Cube Ryder, and Mark Ryan, and Lily Starflame, Nikki Layman, Nolan, Crunchy Face, Fernando Silva, another goat. Thank you, Christina, Andrew Arana, Kenpachi Ramasama, Michael Holder II, Aria, Keitaro, our newest Patreon at this point in time. Hello, Keitaro. Welcome to the fold. Thank you, Soft Shell. That's also a new Patreon. Welcome to the fold. One of us. Thank you, Armuta. And Chic. That's, yeah. Thank you, Dylan Swenson. Sup? Thank you, Wilg? If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. I think that... But thank you, David Martinez, as well as an evil ghost in this story. I don't think so, that evil ghost, but thank you for supporting me on Patreon. I don't care if this runs long. It's been like an hour. I don't give a shit. Thank you, Zelion, as well as Snoopy Spirit. The spirit of Snoopy supports me on Patreon. I just want to point that out. Thank you, Tropic and John Mayer. It's a funny name. Oh, because you're not actually... Okay. Thank you, Kirsten Soto and Mio Bunny, as well as Chuckster. Thank you, Painful Choice. And to Slig. How am I supposed to pronounce that? Thank you, S. That I always know I can pronounce. And the Club Rocker. Thank you, the Prince of Ravens, Lily Bunny. Scott Labar, Dez, a.k.a. Is That So? Thank you, Andy Devora. Commentary Sean? Thank you, Rad R. Thank you, Jiggly Turbo. Thank you, Kami Mun. And thank you, Zachary Alexander. Thank you, the Sick White Tiger. Hope you've been well. Thank you, Michael P. And Elfrey684. And John Paul Hoare. And Mr. Oh, that was a rhyme, by the way. And Mr. Mohawk. And the Wheels on the Bus Go Die Die Die. And Andrew Silverman. Greg Wolf. Mr. Bowler. Mio Kuroshima. Angel Bane. M Gamers. Eric Camacho. Ryan Cole. The Red 9 and RE4. Problematic. Nikki Batelli, Escape Route British, Jameson Wiley, John Garcia, Friend Carrick, R Pie Spies, Link the 8th. Come watch my Twitch streams. Thank you. And that was the last one in the tier. Thank you all. And let's see how long we went on for. Only 6 minutes. Oh, I was shooting for 8. Damn. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the new video, and say hello to everybody on stream. I'm trying my best to be more productive in terms of videos as well as streaming. On the video front, it's a little demoralizing when they disable ads for all of your videos, and I mean all of them, including, no one's listening at this point, but literally everything. Gaming Mysteries, it does not matter. So it's a little demoralizing, I guess. Needless to say, this has been Bullshit Creepypasta Storytime, and I will see you next time on whatever video it is. Broke 7 minutes. Ooh, yeah. Till next time. Ta-ta.